Hi everyone! Today I'm going to show you how to make a gelatin bioplastic or a flexible gelatin bioplastic. I'm going to try showing you that in a few ways. You can do different things with that. But let's start with what you need. You will need some gelatin, and the type of gelatin you need is a powdered gelatin. I get these ones in big bags from Jacob Hoy. Nice store in the Netherlands that sells it. You can get it in many places, but try to look for powdered gelatin. I know that it's a bit more common in the Netherlands to have sheets. That's what you normally get at the supermarket. To be totally honest, I've never tried that. It might work just as well, but that's a totally different technique. That's a cold technique, and we'll be using a hot technique. So look for powder if you're following this tutorial. We will need some glycerin. Again, I have a big bottle. You can also get smaller bottles at drugstores, like Ethos in the Netherlands, or Holland and Barrett is one that always stocks it. You will need a bit of water. It's handy to have a precision scale, especially if you're doing small experiments. If you do bigger experiments, a normal kitchen scale is fine, but it doesn't give you enough precision to measure off like grams. So I always have this one at hand. You will need a pot and some kind of spoon and a stove to put it on. And then you probably want to have a few molds to cast your bioplastic in. So a few options. One is a glass sheet or an acrylic sheet, or even a mirror works for that if you want to just make flat sheets. Oh, the mailman. I'll be back. Another kind of mold you can use, also for for casting flat materials, something I like to use a lot, is one of these silicone baking mats. They're oven proof, so you can use them for a bunch of different things, including this. Or, what is really nice, is to make your own molds for this. You can use any kind of mold to cast it in, and of course the result is going to take the same shape. So this is just a simple petri dish. It's going to give you a round, relatively flat bioplastic, but because it has a wall, you can go a little bit higher if you cast it on a flat sheet without walls. The results will be thinner and flatter. And what I like to do, and if you're a student in one of my classes, we'll also do this together, is make your own molds. You can do that. You can do simple 2.5D molds by laser cutting, for example, acrylic, and then screwing them together. Screwing different layers together to create a bit of height in the walls. Or you can 3D model more like 3D shapes. This is a shape that is a rectangle with some half domes inside it that I printed. So there's a few mistakes with this mold, I think, or not mistakes, but things that are going to make it difficult. So to start with, I made this like the width of the wall. It's really wide. It doesn't have to be that wide. It can be thinner, but that's okay. The height of the walls here is maybe 3 or 4 millimeters. So that's not super high. It's fine for what I'm going to do. But of course, if I decided later I want to make thicker, I can do that with this. So, but let's see. And what else is there? Oh yeah, here you can see the printer always leaves these print lines, you see, and you're gonna see that in the result. So that's a downside of a 3D printer if you're not able to polish your designs in any way. So you're gonna see those lines. And with this design, you're probably gonna see it a lot. So here I'm gonna only cast inside the bubbles and then put on top a bit of textile wool. This is wool, cut to size. Oh, yeah. So what is going to happen, I hope, is that I will have the bubbles of bioplastic casted on the textile, but not the rectangular square. So, well, I'll show you what I mean later. This is a grid of truncated pyramids that I haven't tried, so let's see how that works. And here you can see the walls that I made are a bit more efficient. On this one they're really thick, but actually it's not necessarily necessary. And here I made that wall a lot thinner, which probably will be fine. And a different kind of mold altogether is one of these two-sided molds. Here I have the positive shape. It's basically the shape that will come out when I use this mold. This is the shape that will come out. But if the mold is this shape, you can drench a bit of wool or other textile in your bioplastic, put it on top of your mold, and then kind of press it down with this second part of the mold that allows you to really press it together and get some definition there. So then what you will do is use the gelatin basically as a stiffener for your fabric so that the fabric holds the shape of the mold, and you will get a wool shaped with half dome bubbles. Okay, those are some options. What can also be really nice is just one of these bottles with a squirting top, like sauce bottles. If you make a bioplastic that is thick enough, for example by adding some fillers like ground eggshells or something like that, this bottle basically acts as a manual 3D printer. You can turn it upside down and then squeeze the material out in lines that you can give any kind of shape. Might be fun to try as well at some point. That's basically all you need, so let's get started.